I personally don't know how I survived certain periods of my life, and if I would have survived if it wasn't for ancestors' practice. So energy always flows from those above to those below, especially if your relationship with parents is complicated, or if your relationship with your current partner, your current spouse, your kids is complicated. Ancestors is where it is uncomplicated. It's an uncomplicated relationship of energy and talent and strength flowing to you, love, resources, and all you need to give is gratitude. Everyone who does my program does ancestors work with me. Like, it's just missing without it, because that's like the key in the lock that unlocks so much of your potential that you didn't even know was there. So whether we know it or not, with our ancestors, we're in one system. Nothing we do is entirely separate from our ancestors. When you change one part of a system to become more loving, the whole thing changes. When you do one thing to be loving, to be grateful to ancestors, the entire picture of your life changes. What we often do is be like those people back then. They were narrow-minded, they were stupid. I'm not going to have anything to do with them, away with them, far from sight, far from mind. That's often the attitude towards ancestors. Whereas in reality, anything that we exclude, it actually repeats, and repeats very, very quickly, because it's actually giving you the gift, the chance to include it. Everything excluded wants to be included in your heart. One of you emailed me last night saying, I have these very, very, very strong emotions. Like, I have these very strong emotions and they can last for hours. They're recurrent. If you feel like you have emotions that are so strong that you can't even handle them, and they're recurrent and they're persistent, put an exclamation point if you have that, like these emotions that are strong and negative and they come and they stay. Any emotion that's yours flows through you. Any emotion that's yours will flow through you. If it's like that, where it feels like it's recurrent and it's there for a long time, that's ancestral. That's ancestral emotions you're carrying. We can resolve that. Those are actually easier to resolve than your own. Resolving ancestral patterns is actually ironically easier than your own, and they're also stronger. So something I said to another woman who I'm working with in an individualized journey, and she was having strong emotions, another woman. I told her that perhaps you're carrying something from your ancestors that belongs to them and not you. With her in particular, it sounded like it was her father. And we were able to do a practice where she realized it's his. Right now, it's not mine. This can be a guilt, a belief, a feeling that's not yours. We can love someone so much that we take on the decision to carry what's theirs out of love. And all of these things you can leave with other people where they belong. So if you took on something that's not yours, put two exclamation points if you feel you've taken on something that's not yours. If you take on something that's not yours, again, guilt, blame, weight, emotions, what that also means is that you've abandoned something that was innate to you. You take on something that's not yours, you abandon something that's part of your path. So something you could have taken with you and want to take with you, you are not taking with you. And it might be lightheartedness. We really all, when we're not carrying anything that's not ours, when we're only carrying what's ours, we're lighthearted. It can be freedom to engage with life playfully, but there's something you left behind and something you took on. So like a swap. Think of it like in a store. You swap one shirt for another shirt. This one fits, this one doesn't fit. What's yours always fits. So what's not yours and belongs to other people, it never quite fits. So give away everything that's not yours, reclaim what is. So all of ancestors' practice is really this. We send back to the past what should be in the past. We connect to what is ours and what is here. We send gratitude there. We reclaim freedom here. So a couple more points I want to make before we start to meditate again. This is the global one. It applies to a lot of things. Any relationship that does not begin and end with love and respect becomes disruptive. Any relationship that doesn't start and end with love and respect becomes disruptive to you. That includes parents, that includes exes, that includes ancestors, that includes kids, that includes coworkers. So in meditation, we can look for what's been forgotten or cast out and reclaim it with respect into our hearts. Because how the relationship ends is in your control. It'll end depending on the emotions you send out. Not even in person. How it starts is how it already started, but you have control over how it ends. Second point, when we deny the origin of our life, we also deny ourselves in one way or another. Ancestors practice is a deep self-compassion practice. You all know me as self-compassion specialist. Everything comes back to self-compassion. Ancestors comes back to self-compassion very directly and very powerfully. I'll read you something from Thich Nhat Hanh. If you look deeply into the palm of your hand, you will see your parents there and all generations of your ancestors. All of them are alive in this moment. Each and every one is present in your body. You are the continuation of each of these people. So for you to be here doing this honoring roots practice, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 2,048 people in the 9th generation of great-grandparents. So if we take the 12 generations behind you, just 12 generations, that's 4,094 ancestors over 400 years, over probably 20 or 30 different places and geographies and over time. Think of that magnitude of 400 years for a moment. Before we reach Thanksgiving season, let's just hold that in our hearts. How many struggles? How many love stories? How many battles? How many things did they figure out? How many difficulties did they survive? How much sadness without their heart breaking? How much happiness? How much creativity? How many expressions of hope for the future? How much investing in themselves, in their kids, in the future of our earth, investing in their family? How much of that did they do for you to be here and have the life you have in this moment? So much to honor, so much. You might know only a limited amount about your roots, but everything I said is true about your roots, and that is worth honoring, celebrating, and like it's worth having good posture if you know that 4,094 people were there behind you just in 12 generations. Usually, more often than not, we actually hold grudges against our ancestors and we don't want to acknowledge them and we don't want to think about them. So now I want to give you another guiding principle in honoring our roots. When the grudges go, the strength will stay. When the grudges go, the strength will stay. And something biblical from St. John the Cross, where there is no love, put love there, and there love will be. Put love into everything in your past. Put love into everything that made you, you. And if ancestors' practices aren't at least a weekly part of your life, make it a weekly part of your life, because the prosperity you get as a result so far outweighs the effort and the time, and how supported you'll feel and how full your heart is so outweighs the time you spend practicing it. It's a total mindset shift. It's Elizabeth. My goal is to help you follow the path to happiness with these videos. There's always something new each week. Subscribe to this YouTube channel so you see them. I'll see you soon.